It's 10 o'clock, and this is Fox 10 Talks. Good morning, everybody. I'm Ron Hoon. She is Syleste Rodriguez.
Hello. Hello, good morning.
And we have one other person joining us today. It's the governor of the state of Arizona. How about that? Hi, Governor Hobbs.
Good
Hi, good morning.
Yeah. Oh, I meant to we had this whole graphic prepared. Look at that. Look at that.
Hey.
Good shot, right?
Yeah.
Good. We worked for several weeks to find a time that would bring you into our studio here for Fox 10 Talks. And we've got questions from our audience. By the way, you'll see the online chat over there. I don't know why we have the ad for the Vulcan welders and accessories on the screen, but we have a little sliver of some, there you go, where we actually can see some of your comments and questions that you might have for the governor today. Syleste, do you want to kick it off?
Sure.
Okay.
Why not? Governor, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I know we've chatted with you on AZAM before. We've been looking forward to chatting with you, I think, again. And I think it's very fitting. It's on Election Day. I mean, not your Election Day, but a Election Day as well.
Yep.
And on a day, I think, where you release some information about prescription cards for a lot of Arizonans. I know it's kind of preliminary, some of the information we had in here, but what can you share with us about that?
Yeah, so this is a new tool that any Arizonan can get to lower their prescription drug costs. I've been very focused on ways that we can work to lower costs for Arizonans, and I know that prescription drugs are a big burden, and so this new card, AZRX, folks can use to lower their prescription costs.
I think it was up to 80%, right, on some of the prescriptions, that people may need really on a day-to-day basis. There's a couple of other states that are involved. How did Arizona get into the mix of making this happen?
So when we learned about this multi-state consortium, it seemed like a win-win for Arizonans. It doesn't cost taxpayers any money. It saves Arizonans costs on their drugs. And we looked into it and decided to become a part of it.
Okay.
Let's talk about where things stand with SNAP benefits.
Yes.
I know it's been up and down, and people are really, concerned about it, understandably. Where does it stand right now? My understanding is the administration is going to free up some funds, maybe not all the funds that people were hoping for. Is there anything the state can do in the interim? What's the bottom line? Yeah.
So first of all, I share the concern that I know so many Arizonans are feeling right now. And it's been incredibly frustrating because the Trump administration really could have resolved this weeks ago, knowing that the shutdown was continuing and that they had these contingency funds, and they could have released them ahead of time so that states could be prepared. And now we're faced with this very confusing situation. So SNAP beneficiaries should have gotten their monthly benefits for November on Saturday, November 1st, and that did not happen. So now the Trump administration says they're releasing them, and this is because of a court order forcing them to. And so we just received guidance from the USDA, which is the department that administers those funds, this morning. The guidance is very confusing. And so for people that are relying on these benefits, it's still going to be a while before we can get them to them. We don't know when, and we're doing everything we can. I have told DES Director Weishart this is a top priority. We need to get these benefits as soon as possible, but we still have to understand the guidance coming from USDA. The amount of dollars in the contingency fund is about half of what's needed for the full month of November. So people that get those benefits, it will just be around half of them. So what the state has done, we have tried to do everything we can to mitigate. We found some ARPA dollars that we could reallocate. We announced last week that we were funding food banks to help mitigate the increased demand that we know that we're going to see. They're already seeing. We've already been hearing that, food is running short. We've called on Arizonans to step up. Arizonans always help our neighbors in need, and we need to really do that right now.
What was your experience the other day at St. Mary's? We had a camera out there.
Yeah.
We saw you. Did you have a chance to interact with people who are receiving some of the donated food at St. Mary's or other volunteers? Kind of what was your takeaway from the time you spent there?
Yeah, I spent most of the time talking to the volunteers, and St. Mary's relies on so much volunteer support to provide the tremendous amount of support to the community that they do. And for those volunteers, they seemed very concerned about what's coming, because they know that these services are already really stretched, and it's going to be more. And I think, what was really interesting to me, there's a line of cars, and that line is there every day, and that line doesn't let up for the whole time that those boxes are being distributed. And it's just unimaginable to me, thinking about if that's how I knew I could put food on the table, and that resource going away.
You bring up a point with people. It's very difficult, I think, for a lot of Arizona families who may be watching this morning as well. And if you have thoughts or questions for the governor, please post them in the chat. We read it. It's very active. You at one point as well, and I always like to kind of peel back the layers. You're very open about growing up here in the Valley from Tempe. I'm from Tempe as well. And you have been through some challenges as well. Can you share a little bit? There were days when you had a tough time putting food on the table for your family, and we were talking about it here in the studio yesterday, and I said, I think she drove for Uber at one point, and somebody said, is that true?
Yeah, is that an urban legend, or is it really true?
No.
Yeah, so do please share some of your life experience.
Yeah, it is real. So growing up, my dad was the sole breadwinner for our family, and I just saw my parents work really hard, but there were times where my dad wasn't working. He was, in a volatile industry, and when he wasn't working, my parents got SNAP benefits, and it's what made sure we had food on the table. And I remember a lot of times during those times that it was just really hard. My mom struggled with the stigma of having those benefits and using them at the grocery store. And, I think a lot of that experience is really what led me into a career in social work. But, my husband and I struggled too during the Great Recession, raising our kids. We've lost a house to foreclosure, and many, many times had those hard kitchen table conversations and worried about how we were going to pay the bills. And I drove for Uber to make sure my kids had Christmas presents one year.
Yeah. I mean, it's like for a lot of Arizona families right now, it's do I pay my rent, or do I feed my family? We do have a question from Monica in Schluck Buyer. She's in the chat. She says, how is the card that she's referencing, the prescription card we were chatting about a moment ago, how is it different from the Good RX discount card?
That is a great question. And it does provide a similar discount. The difference is that this is a consortium that is led by states, and our sole focus is ensuring that our residents can get discount on their prescription drugs. There's different privacy around it, so we're not selling the information. We're not in it for any kind of profit. We just want to make sure Arizonans can benefit. And Arizona people can go to get more information at AZDHS, so that's Department of Health Services, .gov/AZRX.
Okay, and we put the website in the chat, by the way, so we have it in there.
Great.
Thank you. Great information.
Okay, so what would you say, Governor, are going to be 1 year from now? People are going to go to the polls in our election here in Arizona. We're keeping an eye, of course, on what's going on back east right now. It'll be really fascinating.
Yes.
But what would you say if you had to hone in on 2 or 3 issues between you and we have a number? By the way, we've reached out to the Republican candidates. We hope they'll come join us here on Fox 10 Talks. What are going to be the 2 or 3 biggest issues in your mind?
Well, I can say with confidence that I have been laser focused on the issues that matter most to Arizonans: lowering costs, securing the border, continuing to create good paying jobs. And while I am continue to be focused on what matters to Arizonans, I can say that my 3 opponents are focused on the chaos in Washington, D.C. And, they 2 of them voted for the terrible Washington budget that's going to hurt Arizonans. The third one cheered it on with them. And despite the impacts it will have on Arizonans, hundreds of thousands of Arizonans will lose their health care. Rural hospitals are under threat of closure. The SNAP benefits we just talked about, those are being drastically reduced under that bill. The tariff war that Washington is waging, it's the biggest tax that Americans have experienced maybe ever. It's all causing a lot of damage in Arizona, and I'm focused on doing what I can to continue to deliver for Arizonans and they're supporting all of those policies.
I think this might be a good time to go to a question. We, over the last couple of days, have been inviting our viewers to send in a question.
Okay.
This is a very long question, so I'm going to try to kind of condense it a little bit. But this comes from Tim in Cave Creek. Please ask Governor Hobbs why she's supporting Chuck Schumer and his team for continuing to shut down the government over Obamacare, and why she thinks it's okay for hardworking, equitable employees with decent medical care from their employers to pay for Obamacare. And then he continues, nothing is free in this country. Politicians on each side are to blame for all of this. So how do you react to that?
I agree 100% that politicians on both sides are to blame for this. And I don't support the politics of this shutdown that are harming Arizonans. And I've said over and over again, I'm focused on what Arizonans need. I mean, we just talked about the chaos and confusion around SNAP benefits. Those aren't being delivered because the government is shut down. And there's a lot of harm. People are waiting in longer lines at the airport. Flights are being canceled as we head into the busy holiday season. Federal employees are still working and they're not getting paid. And we have a lot of those in Arizona. Our parks that need tourism, it helps our economy. It helps small businesses across the state. They're operating, but with bare bones. And so that's impacting the economy. I want Washington politicians to do what we did here in Arizona when the extremists in the legislature sent a partisan budget that cut services and left Arizona families behind. I vetoed them, and I forced them back to the table. And we passed a bipartisan and balanced budget. And we did that because we were focused on delivering for Arizonans and not the politics. And Arizonans need our elected leaders in Washington to not play political games, but to solve these problems.
So would you advise the Democrats in the Senate? I know there are some centrist Democrats who are saying, look, pass the budget, get the government reopened, and then let's negotiate on the Obamacare subsidies. Which way would you come down on that, or continue to vote no?
Look, I don't want to get, they have their politics. They have chosen this battle. The president is the executive. And he's the one who should be calling people to the table. And he is walking away from this like he has no responsibility here. And so, I mean, there was a lavish party at Mar-a-Lago on Friday night for Halloween, while on the eve of people losing these benefits that they rely on. I heard a Phoenix mom on the radio earlier today talking about how her 15-year-old son comes home from high school and he's hungry and she doesn't have groceries and he's just going to school now so he can get breakfast and lunch. I mean, it is heart-wrenching to hear these stories. And the president has done nothing to try to bring the sides together and negotiate a solution that keeps this from happening.
You know, if we could go back to also the election that Ron mentioned not too long ago, why run again? Tell us what you're hoping to do in running again.
Well, I think that Arizona is stronger because I have focused on putting politics aside and working across the aisle to deliver for Arizonans. I've taken on tough challenges that career politicians have ignored for years. I know there's more to do, and I'm ready to get it done.
When it comes to jobs, Arizona has really become the epicenter of the semiconductor industry, at least in the U.S., maybe in the world. What are you doing, or what can you do at the state level to continue to boost our, I don't even want to say image, our creds, I guess, our credentials around the world that this is the place to be, and create potentially even thousands more jobs? Yeah,
no, this is the place to be, not just for semiconductors, but all kinds of advanced manufacturing. A few weeks ago, we held SemiCon West here, and that is the premier semiconductor conference in North America. And there was so much buzz about it. In its 50-year history, this is the first time they have been outside of Silicon Valley. The first time it's been in Arizona, and there was a lot of buzz about keeping it here. So that sort of just solidifies where we are in terms of the semiconductor industry in the United States. But it didn't happen by accident, and it didn't happen overnight. It happened because we worked to understand the needs. We've been working to not just bring these big manufacturers, but the whole supply chain that they rely on. We've since 2021, I believe we've had 60 new semiconductor announcements totaling $210 billion. And all of that is good because it means good paying jobs for Arizonans, jobs that don't necessarily need a college degree. But we need to make sure that Arizonans know about those opportunities and that we are creating the pipeline for them to get into those opportunities. So we've made tremendous investments in workforce, working with industry, with our community colleges and our universities, and creating the training that Arizonans need to get these good paying jobs.
So we just have about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I just have one quick question on the semiconductor thing. It does take a lot of water to create these semiconductor manufacturing plants, and we're in the middle of a drought. How do you balance that?
So that's one of those tough issues that career politicians have ignored for a long time. We're tackling water head on so that we can meet these challenges, continue to grow, and bring the industries that are growing in Arizona.
Just a couple. We need to get the fun part of the interview out of the way before we say our goodbyes to the governor. You're a triathlete. Tell us when you first got into this, and does that eat up a lot of your time?
Well, I haven't done a triathlon for a long time, but I was a runner, and I just kind of got bored with just running. And I had some friends that were doing triathlons, so I was like, oh, that looks fun. I'll do that too.
Oh my goodness, that looks like fun. And you're a twin. Are you a twin?
I'm identical twin. Yes.
Okay, so when your sister is out and about, are they like, hey, Governor Hobbs?
Yes, all the time.
Right.
And is she like, you know what? I'll lower taxes for you. I'm going to lower gas prices. And then you're like, sis, what's up? What's happening?
So do you have time for any other holidays, any other hobbies besides, I know you love to go out and go cycling. People might see you out there on your bicycle.
Yeah.
What other maybe hobbies or that kind of a thing, maybe shed some insight into you that might surprise people?
Anything outdoors, which is what makes Arizona such a great place to be. Hiking, kayaking.
Do you talk to your parents about politics? Ooh. And what do they say to you?
So a little bit. Our household growing up was not a political household. My parents voted. It was something that they took a lot of pride in. My mom took me to the voting booth, but never told me how she voted because, that is a sacred, the private ballot is.
So they never told you, hey, we're Democrat, we're Republican growing up, or did you know?
I think they were Republican, but they weren't like. We didn't talk about it. Yeah. It was like, and so I probably registered as a Democrat when I first registered to vote because they were Republican, and you do the opposite of your parents, right?
Good point.
But no, I think more we just talk about. Like, I love talking to them and hearing like everyday Arizonan perspectives on how regular people think about what's going on in the governor's office or around the state. So,
and I think talking about, just your regular life, the life that we all have, what you shared about Uber. I was reading through your bio. You and your husband met at church?
Yes.
Tell us that story.
So we were both right out of college, and we were young adult volunteers at Resurrection Church in Tempe, which we had both been raised Catholic and both pretty engaged in our church community. With me, it was the example of my parents set for me. And so, we were volunteering with the youth group at Resurrection Church in Tempe.
And the youth pastor, did he conduct the ceremony, or who married you?
It was actually a priest that we had both worked with youth work,
Okay, great. Yeah, she went to Seton High School, right?
I did.
Yeah, Seton Catholic High School in the East Valley.
Yeah.
Well, you're always welcome here as a guest on Fox 10 Talks. I feel like we covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, and don't send your twin sister in next time, okay?
I will not. She's a teacher, so she's probably in the classroom right now.
Yeah. So wonderful.
You got a great staff. We've enjoyed talking with them as well. And this is the whole reason we launched this show is so that it's not just a minute on the soundbite in the news, but let's talk for 20 minutes about the big issues and maybe some fun stuff too.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so on to a couple of other stories here, and then we've got a break coming up, and we got the mystery cam and everything else coming your way. But there is a lot of concern about roads in our state. We could probably do another 5 minutes on that, including, Governor, just please take a look at the 24 freeway out in East Mesa getting onto the 202. I'm sure there's a plan in place for that. But the Maricopa Association of Governments wants to hear from people because of this bottleneck between the 202 and the 101 out there in Tempe and Scottsdale. Here's a little bit more about what they were saying about that.
Or what they've seen, where they've seen it. They're going to take a survey, and then there's a map. They can actually put a pinpoint on the map to show where they've experienced issues, where they think things could be better. They have a lot of good recommendations, whether it's to increase the lane, the length of the lanes, because the problem is there's a lot of merging and lane drops. So what that causes is slow traffic. It causes our crashes.
Okay, so, think about this. Think about any time that you have been heading south on the 101 freeway, Syleste, from, say, the Scottsdale area.
Yes.
And you get to the 202 and you're trying to transition onto either the westbound, back toward Tempe and Phoenix, or the eastbound toward Mesa. They say they have an average of 4 crashes there every couple of days.
I was just on that freeway yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah, southbound 101, trying to get on that 202 to head towards like Tempe Town Lake.
Yeah.
And I think it's because when you look at some of the other connections to freeways, they're newer. So they have 2 lanes, or they have a separate HOV lane that will take you from one of the freeways to the other. So you have this part of the valley that, it was one of the first stretches of the 101 that was built.
Yes.
That connection with the 202.
Right.
Because, of course, you had that whole Scottsdale area. And for years ago, if you're fairly new to the valley, you had the Phoenix Rising soccer stadium used to be there before it moved downtown.
It was like a pop-up stadium.
It really
just
was.
Popped up one day.
Yeah. And so that was one of the first stretches. So I do think there is some improvements, if you will, that need to be made to that part of the valley because it is growing. You have Ron at Mesa Riverview. You have the Cubby Stadium right there. So people may stay in Scottsdale and cruise down and go to the spring training facility.
And, I think that if they took a look at what ADOT was able to accomplish at the Broadway curve.
Yes.
They have the lanes now. It's not as confusing. Like if you're heading from Sky Harbor Airport and you want to get all the way down on the 60, they have their own dedicated lanes from the 143 that will take you all the way to the 60.
Yeah.
So if they would give a couple of additional lanes coming south from Scottsdale, then not just 1 or 2 lanes that people try to squeeze into, but 3 or 4 lanes, say 2 lanes in each direction.
Yeah.
And that you could veer over there maybe a mile ahead of time. Something like that, I think, probably would help a lot because it's a bottleneck.
Well, and I think they're going to need some help from the reservation there because is it the Salt River Pima?
Yes, that's
Salt
a
River
good point.
Pima.
Good point.
You have, I believe, a portion of the Loop 101 maybe on the reservation.
Yep.
The only reason I know that is because when you stop at that Chevron off of what is it, like McDowell or and like Hayden or something, it's different. It's owned by the reservation, by the tribe.
Yes.
And so there's going to be a lot of different partners that'll have to come together to make it work. But I think it's, it may be time. It's time to do something there.
Yeah. Okay, so by the way, you can go to fox10phoenix.com. We have a link. They want to get your input now because it does show the study that they just came out with says the average speed is down to around 25 miles an hour at rush hour.
Yeah, it is.
And like I said, 4 crashes per day on average.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
we don't
really
want that.
Yeah. Okay, on to a couple more stories, then we're going to get a break, and we got a great poll question for you today and everything else. But this story coming out of a high school in Tucson, there was a photo of some teachers that sparked some real outrage on social media over the weekend. Turning Point USA says that Cienega High School parents were sending them the image saying that the shirts, which we're going to show you right now, were making light of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now, the school district is speaking out, saying that's not the case. Matter of fact, you're going to hear from the superintendent now who says they've heightened security because they've even been getting some death threats. Here is all of that part of the story.
We shouldn't have warned them, and we shouldn't have posted it in retrospect. And out of deep sympathy and understanding for all people who are victims of violence, including Charlie Kirk and his family.
With so much violence in our society and so much violence at the heart of most of the issues in this country, it seems a little tone deaf to me.
Those teachers wore those T-shirts throughout the day, both this year and last year, and there wasn't one question or concern raised by a student or a parent about that. It wasn't until the photo was found online and spread nationally that it gained this kind of attention.
Whether it's not political at all, you have a bunch of teachers in bloody shirts where we are in high school, so I think high school kids are still impressionable.
Rushing to conclusions, being quick to anger and lob that anger at people who you don't know who their intent is, and you don't know who their values are, that also has consequences and causes harm.
So here was the statement then that was released after learning that the costumes were worn last year. The district pointed that out. It's more of a question of why do it again this year, particularly with everything we've all been through. So here's part of the statement. We've seen enough evil since Charlie's murder that I'd be relieved if this isn't another example. That being said, it's a very weird costume for teachers in general. After what happened to Charlie, I'm absolutely floored they wore it again. So that's part of the post there, straight from TPUSA. This is an Arizona story. They're headquartered here. TPUSA is headquartered here, and it's a high school not in the valley, but down in southern Arizona.
I think the school district didn't share what were they supposed to be. Like, what is the costume? If I dress up as, bear. I'm a bear.
Yes.
If you dress up as like Dracula, you're Dracula.
Right.
Well, what
How
is
does solving a math problem end up with a bloody shirt?
Right. Like, I'm trying to understand what that means. On one of the news outlets down in Tucson, it says that the Halloween, it's a math-themed Halloween costume because it had problem solved on the front, meant to represent solving tough math problems. But why it had blood on the shirt, I think that's what the superintendent or the head of the school that we were just hearing from, that's what they did not answer. And we didn't have that on the show this morning. Yeah. They never said they were dressed up as this costume last year and they dressed up as this costume this year. What were they supposed to be?
Yeah.
I think if they would have explained that, maybe, but that might have changed the story.
Maybe that would have helped for sure. We're seeing a lot of your comments on this as well, but we are up against a break. You can continue the online chat in the friendliest chat room going.
Yeah, that's right.
FTT chat room. We had a great half hour with the governor. We once again went commercial free.
Wow.
I don't know who's picking up the tab for those lost commercials. Syleste.
Hopefully it's not coming out of our check, Ron.
Hey, you know what? We have should we do the mystery cam now? All right. We'll have it up for you in another 15.
Okay, let's
dance. Right now, it's dance time. We'll be right back. Hey, what a nice view of upstate New York. Yes, there is just the mist. I wish they would climb up on this pole, Celeste, and put the camera a little bit higher so we could see the You see everything except Niagara Falls itself in this
I know.
picture.
You see the steam, you see the city, the colors, the beautiful park.
Yes.
You think it's, what's the temp? You think like in the 40s, maybe?
That's a good question.
I think maybe 40s, 50s or something like that, potentially.
Well, we could pencil in Crystal for a segment a little bit later. What is the temp at Niagara Falls?
Ask AI.
Yes, you go to...
What is the temperature of Niagara
Celeste is
Falls?
actually asking AI. Go ahead, Celeste. Go ahead.
It
Is
is
he gonna speak
54.
to you? Yes?
54 degrees in Niagara Falls, New York.
All right, fine. Then I'm going to do an Ask AI as well. Hold on here. Ready? No, I mean, let's do it. We have just a moment here to Ask AI. Let me go over to my AI person. By the way, I have a new voice. It's a lady.
Ooh, does your wife know, Ron?
You know what? I was going to ask the governor about this because I'd been asking earlier. Are we big enough now of the state, population-wise, to get a major theme park? Maybe to have the government work with, whether it be the Disney people or Six Flags or whatever.
Yeah.
The thinking forever has been you can't do it in such a hot place. Well, Disney is now working with folks in the UAE.
Yeah.
Where it's hotter than us.
Well, I think when you throw enough money at the company, maybe that opens the door to more opportunities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Ron?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Ron, maybe you should get involved.
Hello, are you there?
Hello. Yep, I'm definitely here and ready to jump in.
Oh, she's
Let me know what you'd like to chat about or if there's anything else you need.
What's the best time of year to go to Niagara Falls? Celeste seems to think it's today. I think maybe there's a different option. What do you say?
Well, Celeste might have a point if you're a big fan of crisp autumn vibes.
Nice.
I love autumn vibes.
I interrupted her. Sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead. We're anxiously awaiting. When's the best time of year?
Oh, no worries at all. I love a little interruption. It keeps things lively. So as I was saying, usually the sweet spot for Niagara Falls is late spring to early fall, like May through September, when the weather's nice, everything's in full swing, and you've got all the boat tours running. But if you two are into autumn, then catching those fall colors around early October can be gorgeous too. So there you go.
Oh, she's so chipper, Ron.
I'm kind of uncomfortable with you referring to Celeste and me as you two. I mean, we're just workmates. That's all.
Oh, totally got it. No worries at all. I'll keep it strictly professional. So.
Strictly professional. Okay, that's excellent.
Because we're both married, but not to one another.
That's correct. But that did give us one last chance. And it is the perfect time to be there with the leaves changing right now.
I know. It's so beautiful.
All right.
We've got some breaking news, Ron.
Yeah, we're going to go right now to the House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries. He is speaking on Capitol Hill. And then we're going to tell you about some new developments regarding SNAP benefits. It's all coming up. But first, let's go to him live right here on ENG 21. Here we go.
Next, your capitalists or famous capitalists up here wants to share.
Tucker needs to start acting like a transportation secretary and stop trying to pretend to be a reality show TV star. Because at the end of the day, it's the Republicans who shut the government down. Donald Trump repeatedly has made that clear. They're the ones who have the power to reopen it. And as Democrats, we've said, this Trump-Republican shutdown is causing great harm and pain to the American people, and it does threaten aviation safety. So Donald Trump has spent more time over the last 35 days talking to Hamas and the Chinese Communist Party than he has talking to Democrats on Capitol Hill to reopen the government. Democrats on Capitol Hill who represent half the country. And we continue to be clear. We will sit down with our Republican colleagues anytime, any place, in order to reopen the government, protect the American people, find a bipartisan path forward, and decisively address the Republican health care crisis.
I have.
Spoke to Speaker Johnson about the current shutdown situation and
We'll get out of that. For some reason, you can't hardly hear his microphone. I'm not quite sure why that was.
No. Did you read the headline, Ron, on what he was talking about? So
Yes, let's get to that.
With all of the, obviously, what is it, the 35th day of shutdown, it ties the longest. That was the longest was in 2018, 2019. That was in President Donald Trump's first presidency.
Yeah.
But the big alert right now here this morning, at least one of them, we have some big developments here on a couple of different things, is that what he was just mentioning was the Department of Transportation may in fact be forced to close some airspace next week because of the shutdown.
Now, who made that announcement?
Jeffries was just talking about that right now. That's why he was mentioning the Department of Transportation.
Yeah, okay.
And so what he's saying is they may be forced to shut down the airspace. I'm going to read from one of the news articles that I just found from ABC News Online.
Okay.
It says, if the government shutdown continues into next week, they could be forced to close. This is according to, of course, the government, the federal government right now. So what it says is nearly 50% of all major air traffic control facilities face staffing shortages, according to the FAA. Air traffic controllers, we've seen some trouble at airports as of late here with delays and cancellations. That's nothing new. We've been talking about that. But it says air traffic controllers are required to work right now. Of course, furloughed, they'll get paid eventually, but work without pay right now. On Friday, the agency said 80% of New York area staff had called out. That was last Friday.
How much?
80%. This is according to this. About 13,000 air traffic controllers are currently working without pay, according to the FAA. And then on Friday, on Halloween, it said the agency said that 80% of New York area staff had called out.
I am so concerned about what is going to be happening that whole last week, maybe week and a half in November, because Thanksgiving is the busiest air travel time the whole year. And if it's looking this bad now, you can imagine where we'll be at the end of the month.
So it makes you think, they're using this on both sides. Both sides are holding out, trying to use different things as negotiating tools.
Yes, right.
Right?
And
they're saying, hey, let's come to the table. Let's do something happen, make something happen.
And here's a big headline that just came in as well. There's some real confusion now because here's the post that the president put out on Truth Social. This was as of 9 o'clock this morning. SNAP benefits, which increased by billions and billions of dollars, many-fold during crooked Joe Biden's disastrous term in office, due to the fact that they were haphazardly handed to anyone for the asking, as opposed to just those in need, which is the purpose of SNAP. That was all in parentheses, by the way. Will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up the government, which they can easily do and not before. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. So even though we had heard earlier that in response to this one particular judge, actually two different federal judges' rulings, the administration said, okay, we do have some funds. It sounds like, until we hear differently, that they're not going to roll them out to increase pressure to get a vote of 60 or more in the Senate and get the government reopened.
This is going to be interesting as we head on into the holiday season. You have families obviously already living paycheck to paycheck, but if you're not getting the paycheck, they're trying to figure it out. You have the situation at the airports. You have all of the nonprofits who have really stepped up here across Arizona to help feed Arizona families. A lot of students are going to school and having meals, and there are some school districts we heard that are sending children home with food. Especially on a Friday as you enter a weekend.
Yeah. Okay, so as all that unfolds, Celeste, we are going to roll out our poll question this morning. And then we also have the poll queue re-queue, which we're going to do for you. As a matter of fact, let's do the poll queue re-queue first.
Okay. Ron, can I just mention this real fast? Because I know this was a part of the SNAP benefits that you were just mentioning. This is just a real quick, because we don't have a ton of information on it. But according to The Hill, Trump says he's withholding SNAP benefits until the shutdown ends.
There you go.
Because the judge had initially said, hey, you need to
get them out now.
Yeah, but he's saying no. And so now you've got the judicial system involved. So this is getting real interesting here now.
Sure is. Okay. By the way, I don't know that we will ever in our lifetime, Celeste, see a governor or a mayor's race in the city of New York attract this kind of attention out here in Arizona. We had, in our poll Q-Re-Q, here's where things stood yesterday. New poll says the mayor's race getting closer to you. Care. 71% said yes, Mamdani is a socialist. I hope he's not elected. 16% in our QR poll said, yeah, he represents the future, Mamdani. I hope he wins. And the 13% said, who cares what happens in New York? But what did it look like on YouTube, Celeste?
My goodness. Take a look at YouTube. We've got over 5,000 votes, Ron. Is this nuts? Yeah. So new poll says New York City mayor race getting closer. Do you care? Yes, Mamdani is a socialist. I hope he's not elected. 50%. Yes, Mamdani represents the future. I hope he wins. 34%. And who cares what happens in New York? 16%.
Okay. So that obviously we have thousands and thousands of votes, and that's the whole universe out there. I mean, I believe we have over 500,000 subscribers to our Fox 10 Phoenix YouTube page.
Over 519.
519,000?
Yes.
Roll the toad, Celeste. We're up to 519,263 or whatever that number
if we
may
reach
be.
600, what do people get? A Fox 10 Talks t-shirt.
Careful, Celeste.
Those are like gold. Those are like gold.
There's only one man who can authorize that, and right now he's shaking his head.
Big D. I'm going to order all of them.
Oh, no. Oh, now we're on the hook. That's great. By the way, you're going to hear from Dave because, of course, he comes equipped with his entire fan club every day here on the streaming show.
Yes.
But that'll be right after the break, because here's today's poll question. We do a poll Q-Re-Q, I don't know, about once a week when we have thousands and thousands of votes.
Yes.
Over a mayor's race in New York City.
It's nuts.
Who would think? Here's today's poll question, and this is the one we want you to vote on now. Been a lot of talk about the president's job approval numbers dropping. What do you think is the main reason? I said main reason here because I'm sure some people are like, well, what about all?
Yeah.
Or what about there's a different one? Amongst these, which are some of the biggest issues, if you had to choose one of these four, grab the QR code. 26% say it's because voters just aren't happy with the economy and inflation. 7% say it's the prosecution of his political enemies. 6% feeling like the ICE raids have gone too far. And 60% say, just hold on. You know what? The polls, they go up and down. He's still doing great.
So that's on TV. Let's look at YouTube. We've got more than 850 votes here in just the last hour. 55% of you say voters unhappy with the economy and inflation. 35% of you say polls go up and down. He's still doing great. Let's show the mystery cam real quick, Ron, if we can get to it before the next break. You want to do that real quick?
You want to do that? Okay.
Well, because we want to get to it,
Okay. Yeah, sure. Here we go. Okay, everybody. Oh, look at that. That's as generic a mystery cam as we've ever had. Give us your guesses. We'll be right back. We are getting some mystery cam guesses in, Celeste.
Yes, we are. Charles David says Texas, Halakita, South Carolina, B. Miguel with Missouri, Verde Valley from Mr. Pavoline. He's saying Arizona.
Okay.
We've got another South Carolina from Louis Gonzalez, and Jens Wall says Kansas.
Well, wherever it is, they have a wasp infestation, and it's freaking me out.
Yeah, heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
I might go with Steve Dockstader and go with Oklahoma. What about both of you? Bells?
That's good.
I kind of like Halakita's South Carolina.
Okay.
Ooh, I kind of do too. Okay, so the leaves, you're just seeing the first few bits and pieces of leaves right now. Let's just see.
Do you think it's the South?
I think it is
I
somewhere
think
in
so.
the South, but it's very green.
Georgia?
And so I'm going to go Arkansas.
Okay, that's a good guess.
Okay, so you are?
Georgia.
I'm Arkansas, and you are?
South Carolina.
Here we go, everybody.
Okay, here we go. Which one did you say, Bells?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Oh, Opelika, Alabama.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we didn't
Okay.
go with Alabama.
No, we didn't.
I don't know if anybody got Alabama in the chat. Let us know if you did.
That's a hard one.
That is
I mean,
a hard one.
The only giveaway are the wasps of Okalipa. Right?
Yeah.
Honestly. Did either of you ever see the movie The Birds when you were kids? The Alfred Hitchcock thriller.
No, I didn't.
Oh, put it on sometime. Let me go to Dave on the day. Dave, did you ever see the movie The Birds?
Yes, I love scary movies. The Birds is terrific.
Yeah.
You
Did it
love
scar you for a long time? Huh? No?
No, I wouldn't
okay.
say. I wouldn't say like It. I love It so much.
You're
That's
so
the one that
happy.
scares me a little bit. Scares me a little bit.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm actually quite surprised. Look how happy he is. Like,
I know.
You know what I mean?
You know
Like
why he's
usually,
happy?
usually super happy people. Like you'd think, like the horror flicks would like.
Yes.
Give him a, just
I know,
a.
but no.
No,
Not Big D. That's
not
for
Big
sure.
D.
Hey, Dave, what are you seeing in terms of reacts today?
Yeah, so a lot of great comments, as always, on this poll question. Pat Evans, 3709, says people cannot afford to buy products, so manufacturing production has decreased dramatically. Workers are laid off because of decreased demand. Until the economy truly improves and purchases increase, we will not see a decrease in layoffs. Charles David, 5137, says folks are really struggling these days. Don't feel like our priorities are in order. And Oatmeal Pancake, EJ, 8KY.
Oatmeal pancake.
Yeah, that's a great one. Says he literally just had a Great Gatsby-themed party and is building a multi-million-dollar ballroom while his own citizens lose their SNAP benefits and risk losing their health care. Really interesting takes. Keep them up, guys. We love hearing from you.
Oh, good.
Okay.
That was good.
So-
Can we just say a quick hello?
Of course we can, Celeste.
To Brandy the Bookworm, and we hope you're feeling better, and we're thinking of you and prayers for you. Halakita has shared in the chat that Brandy's not doing so well. She's not feeling so great
Yeah.
right now. So Brandy's not on, but she's one of our faithful viewers
Yes.
and Fox 10 talkers.
Okay. Brandy,
So-
we are all. You got this. We are pulling for you.
We are.
And get through this challenge and come back and join us. She's so fun with her
Hope we
comments
see you
every day.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Hey, is the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade a thing in either of your households, you guys?
Yeah.
Yes, Bella for sure. Celeste, you hesitate.
Yeah, well, I usually, if I'm not working,
Yeah, we work a lot on
I'm
Thanksgiving.
cooking.
Oh, yeah.
But we have it on in the background,
yeah,
so the
it's
kids
on.
are watching, and the Gary and the family, and the dogs.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to roll the video right here because the
Wow.
balloons. I don't know. What do you think? Is it the bands or the balloons or the Broadway actresses and actors? What's your main reason you like going? Or
I
not
think it's
going,
all
but
of the
watching?
above.
Yes.
It's all so fun.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to see the streets of New York, like to see all the stores that they, are walking by, and
For
it's
sure.
rich. It's just
Yeah.
like the big city with
Yeah.
these huge. It's just so
It's
cool.
like Miracle on 34th Street comes alive again.
That's,
Yes.
yeah, great. Yeah, that you said it well said, Ron.
Well, so we're getting our first look, and I love it. Buzz Lightyear is going to make his debut. That's hard to believe. Buzz has been around for like 25 years.
He ages well.
Shrek's Onion Carriage. Pac-Man is going to make a debut all these years after it first came out, like back in the 80s. And Super Mario, why not?
I wonder if they're do they base their balloons or their floats on like middle-aged people? You know what I mean? Like people who are probably going to watch. It's like a flashback. It's retro for everybody who's, you know.
That's a
really
good point.
idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, all four got unveiled just the other day at Balloon Fest in East Rutherford, New Jersey. I just taped an episode with John Netzel of The Great American Story.
Yeah.
And I believe that the Hindenburg, I think that was in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Oh, wow.
This very airfield. I'll go back
Ooh.
and check my facts on that. But
Check your notes.
yeah, little note from history, not trying to bring everybody down.
Ron, for all of you who maybe haven't or didn't watch when Ron and I were anchoring together, Ron used to do the history quiz.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that?
Sure. Maybe every once in a while I'll bring it back here.
So, Bells,
Test your knowledge.
Ron would get on and he would say, today on this very day, and it was live in the 6 o'clock hour,
Sure.
and it was like one of the best parts of the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then we'd all learn something, and Ron had this backstory to it, and then he would share the part of history, and it's so perfect.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, okay, so yeah, that's an inspiration for sure, and I'll double check my facts, but I think East Rutherford, New Jersey. Anyway, you guys, what's that, Bri?
Lakehurst.
Lakehurst. Okay, is that near
Jersey.
East Rutherford? We'll check it out. Okay, so here's another holiday-themed question for you guys. Will you buy the new Oreo tin? Now, it's not as tight. Look at all those cookies in there. Those are like extra large sized Oreos that are covered in extra flavoring. So you have the Oreo in the middle, and then you have all these different kind of drizzled, almost candified cookies. And they're doing it for Thanksgiving. You can buy them online for $20. I don't know if they've gone live yet or not, but I think it's actually quite brilliant. Just give me a yay or a nay on some of these flavors here.
Nay.
Hold on now. Okay. What
Bells
about
and I are jumping.
Nay to all.
what about Oreo cookies with an apple caramel flavor?
That one might be okay.
Bella?
I feel like there's too much going on.
Okay. Pumpkin pie?
Might be good.
Oh, you guys are going to be a tough audience.
I'd rather have pumpkin pie without the Oreo.
I agree with you.
Creamed corn?
Oh, no.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
I knew how that one was going to go. Turkey and stuffing?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No.
How about which one out of those would you like?
Yes.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
think Celeste and I are a no for all of them.
Probably the apple caramel. I grew up in a
Okay.
town that called itself the apple capital of the world, so I love apples.
Apple cat.
Anyway, yeah, they say that it's going to go online. By the way, Holy Bia says, love those new balloons. Super Mario is my daughter's favorite. Hallie. Hold it. It's Hallie Bia.
Hallie Bia.
Okay, good. This is like an eye test.
You know what's a good comment here?
What's that?
Mike Fernandez says, I would keep them unopened as a collector's item.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great idea.
Sure.
I thought it would be a great idea to use it as a like a white elephant gift.
Oh,
so let's say
yeah.
because it's $20 for the tin and all the cookies inside.
Right.
And if you're going to a gathering for
That's a good
family or
idea.
friends for
That's
the
a really good
holidays,
idea.
then maybe it's it's always like a $20. You know, then there you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you never know what they're going to do, and then everybody can try it.
All right.
There you go. A little sampler.
Before we get to our last story of this hour, and then it's Ty and Anita. Ty's back. We're all happy about that for sure. There was a post on Reddit that was getting thousands of comments the day before Halloween. And I thought, maybe if we have a couple of spare minutes. So what happened was that there's a guy and his girlfriend, and the guy is divorced from his wife, and so they split time with the children. And the girlfriend grounded the children
Oh, interesting dynamic.
a week before Halloween because they had made a big mess in the house.
Oh.
And she said, you're grounded, and you're grounded including Halloween. And then she said, bye, because now we have to hand you back to Mom.
Oh.
And she expected Mom to enforce her grounding of the kids.
Yeah, that's a big no.
What is your take on this, Celeste?
Yeah, no. No.
Right?
Absolutely not.
I think most people felt that way,
Yeah,
too.
I think if you tell me what my child did, I'm happy to maybe consider a consequence.
Yeah.
but I'm the parent, and so I should have to, or have the father call the mother. This is what the child did, and then let's find a way to,
That's really
resolution.
good. That's actually quite brilliant. But the whole idea of telling kids, I mean, sorry they made a mess, but they made a mess, and they should clean it up. I'm not trying to be like, super just on one side of the issue here, but taking Halloween away from them is just they were crying for days.
Oh,
According to the Reddit post.
Yeah.
that's sad.
I mean, I don't mind my kids crying for days. If they do something that warrants that,
But Bella, what do you think about this?
I do agree with Celeste. I think the punishment should be between the parents. And so I think the girlfriend, not even a stepmom, but the girlfriend of the dad, enforcing a punishment for a week and then expecting the mom to just continue that. I feel like that's not her place. And also, it was just a little mess. If the kids took the car for a joyride, that's a different story. But if they just made a mess, they should be punished.
Little 12-year-old Johnny knocked off a 7-Eleven. That's a different situation.
That is a total. Then it's like, why don't you take him to juvie, and I'll pick him up on November 1st.
But a little mess, I don't think that warrants Halloween.
Okay, I haven't seen this video yet, but I hear it's amazing. So there was a scene during a show where there was a field trip, and some middle schoolers were watching from the balcony when one of the actors on stage said the most magical numbers, and who knows why these are even magical numbers.
Oh boy, I know where this is going.
7. The kids who were there for this matinee performance went bonkers. Here, ready? Here we go. I haven't seen it yet. I hear they go nuts. Ready? Here we go.
That's what it is.
And the actors just let it go for like 45 seconds. I mean, it's a standing ovation for no reason. Except 2 numbers. Bella, have you been able to dig in? What is the whole 6-7 thing all about?
It's something with the younger kids.
Yes.
I don't know. It's, like every few years there's a different phrase or a funny term that kids will attach to. So the current phrase or term right now is 6-7.
Right.
And I don't know why.
It means
50-50, kind of like one way or the other.
So this is what it says online. 6-7 is a slang term, became popular through viral videos. It can mean meh or maybe, so, and usually you do this, 6-7, and not 67,
okay.
6-7.
Okay.
So it's referencing a 6-7 basketball player, like LaMelo Ball, fluid, so I don't know. That's all it says.
Fantastic. Okay, we're going to leave you this hour with a little bit more of Alabama.
And this show is not 6-7.
No.
It is way more than that, my friend.
10s all across. Here comes Ty and Anita.
Welcome on in. We're staying with the shot because the wasps.
Is it a wasp?
This was like some mystery shot that they had earlier, but that wasp keeps buzzing around the
Let's
camera.
see if we can find it.
That was just a little bug.
That was a wide shot. That was a wide shot.
Well, welcome on in.
Hi.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. We're going to keep things rolling here. Fox 10 Talks at 11. And man, we had a jam-packed show yesterday. We have another jam-packed show
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
This Tuesday. It is, yeah. So let's jump right into it.
Our guest.
I feel kind of bad because I just inhaled a whole thing of nerds. And we're talking to a dentist.
Oh,
so don't look too close.
How do you feel about nerds and candy?
I love them. Halloween is a great time of year.
As long as you brush your teeth after, right?
Always. Yep.
Okay, well, wait, nerds. Oh, I thought I had candy in my pocket, and I don't, which is good.
Usually does.
I usually do.
This is Dr. William Fulcher. He is the founder and CEO of what organization?
My Dental Implant Center and My Dental Dentistry and Implants.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So talk about what you have coming up, because this is such a cool thing that you have started.
Yeah, so for this is our 10th annual year doing it, but we do a Veterans Smile Day. So I was born at Williams Air Force Base. My dad served 8.5 years in the Air Force.
Oh, wow.
And so my way to give back to our veteran community is by throwing a Veterans Smile Day every year, where we donate same-day dental services for the entire day.
Wow.
Typically, we'll end up doing over $100,000 in dentistry just in one day alone. So it's a pretty big day. We'll treat, up towards of 100 veterans that day, and do whatever work that they need done. So,
and it's so important because we are running a big campaign right now, and really advocating for the care of the veterans, and that's one thing. Your smile is almost your identity, and I think most people don't have dental insurance. You might have health care, but you don't have dental. It's expensive, and it's difficult to get well taken care of teeth.
Definitely. So veterans are much underserved in the dental space, right? So a lot of them get their medical needs taken care of, but a lot of them are left behind when it comes to dentistry. And so we are actually one of the big referral sources from the VA. They refer to us as well. And it's because we do give back to the veteran community. So we're excited to, obviously partner with them and to help the veterans out in any way we can. So.
What does this look like on the day when you do this?
Yeah.
I mean, do people need to make an appointment ahead of time, or is it kind of first come, first serve?
First come, first serve.
Wow.
Patients will generally start showing up before the sun rises.
Yeah.
Start forming a line, but mostly we start bringing patients back at 7:30, and we go all the way till 3:30 or 4.
Wow.
We started doing it on the Friday before Veterans Day. We used to do it on Veterans Day, but there's so many other events that they're being celebrated for that we didn't want to interfere with, and so enable us to serve more veterans, we decided to do it on the Friday before. So
this year it's Friday, November 7th from 8 to 4.
Yep.
Talk about some of the stories that the veterans share with you. I would imagine that there's some huge success stories out there and a lot of gratitude.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So one of the biggest ones, like when we think of veterans, I think most of the patients or people who pop into mind, are your father, your grandfather. But now we have this veteran community who are in their 20s, who are in their 30s, who are trying to get back into life. And one of these patients, he needed full mouth implants, and we were able to provide that for him and really change his life. He already was missing a leg from serving, and so he's like, I don't want to have to take my teeth out in addition to having to take my leg off. I lost my family. I'm trying to date. I can't go out to eat. I can't do anything. And then throughout the process, I mean, he's a totally different person, as you can imagine, right? He's out and enjoying life again. So
what an impactful
exciting
story, in the way you said it or repeated it. I don't want to take my teeth out and take my legs off as well. That's not something you think about.
No. You can hide your leg. You can wear pants. You can do those things. Obviously, you'll be, have some type of issues with that, but when it comes to your smile and stuff like that, it definitely dictates your overall well-being.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Talk about, you guys have a lot of dentists that volunteer their time, as well as hygienists and also hygienists as
tough
well.
Word.
It is a tough word. Talk about just what that means to you to have these other dentists in the same field as you kind of donate their time and help you out.
Yeah, so because we've been doing it so long, we have 5 dentists in our organization, and we all pitch in and do all the work. And then, our hygienists, we do a lot of cleanings that day. And really it's a unique opportunity for us to really reflect on what allows us the freedoms to do what we want to do, and it's been a great outpouring from the community too.
Okay, so we know you do the implants. What other services are we talking about here?
So crowns, fillings, cleanings, root canals. We've partnered with a lot of great organizations who donate out for us. So Neodent donates their implants. We get donated biological products, so bone grafting and membranes, all the things you don't want to hear about. But and then
I've had done too. Yeah.
And then we also have a local endodontist who has donated his time to do root canals for veterans, which, again, nobody wants one of those, but when you need one, you're like, where do I go?
But I was going to say that people don't realize, I mean, there's so many health issues that you can have over your whole body that come from your mouth.
100%.
I think people kind of forget that there's a lot that can go wrong if you don't take care of your oral hygiene.
Yeah, totally. So your oral health obviously is the gateway into your overall health. But in addition, if you do have infections in your teeth, I mean, it rapidly gets into your bloodstream, and then, unfortunately, some really bad things can happen. Yeah.
Sure.
So
you've done this 10 years.
Yep.
Have you seen veterans who come back year after year?
We do. Yeah. So we try to limit it to new patients only to broaden the amount of veterans we can see. But we do see patients who come back every year. And largely they come to hang out and give
Which is pretty cool.
and share stories. I mean, if you just linger around the office and just talk with these veterans, everyone's story is so powerful, and they just get together and they talk amongst themselves. They talk with our team, and it's really quite emotional.
Do you need volunteers? Do you need donations? Do you need dentists, hygienists? Do we want to see this grow?
We do. So we actually started a website, veteransmiles.org, to be able to really grow this and spread it throughout the nation. But it's really in the beta stage. So it's just a grassroots effort to really get it out there and spread the word and help as many veterans as we can.
Now, do people need to prove that they're a veteran in any way, shape, or form? Like, what's the best piece of
we do require a veteran ID, but I'll be honest with you, we've never pressed anyone on their status. They show up, we treat them, and we make sure that they're taken care of. So.
And then last question, what is this like for you? I mean, this must be, obviously probably a lot of work that goes into putting this on. You're basically closing down your practice for the day to do this. But at the end of the day, it must be extremely rewarding.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest and best days that we look forward to. What we've learned is that when you remove finances from the equation of dentistry, patients want to get their teeth fixed.
Sure.
And when the staff and the team and the doctors have no financial responsibilities, when the team or the patients don't, it just is such a great profession to be in, right? And to be able to help people and give back. And so it definitely resets our the reason why we went into
the
it,
mindset.
Right? Yeah, the mindset to really help people. So
okay, so one more time, address, date, and time, please.
Yeah, so 1959 South Val Vista Drive, Suite 118 in Mesa 85204. And it's this Friday from 8 to 4 is when we'll see patients. But generally they'll get there early. We have breakfast. Starbucks donates coffee. Panera's donating breakfast. So big companies come behind us and really help support it as well. So
very cool. Well, Dr. Fulcher, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for everything that you do. We truly
we'll put all that info up on our website in case anyone needs it.
I've got that up right now, so you want to take a screenshot
perfect. There we go.
of the screen that gives you all of the information there as well.
Thank you.
Awesome.
We really
Dr.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Okay, so we have Veterans Day coming up, and then we also have the Phoenix 10K and the big marathon coming up. You are a little bit of a runner.
Okay, you know what? So I was going to tell you this.
You're doing it?
I almost signed up for the half marathon. Because I've wanted to, but listen, I'm out of town. We've got Dr. Art Mollen here.
Well, change your plans.
I know, right?
What's the deal?
Are you running it?
Well, I don't get to run it.
No.
I have so many things I have to orchestrate that day. 5K, 10K, half marathon. And it's the first year that we're actually adding a 26-mile marathon, which is going through Paradise Valley. They've never allowed a race in Paradise Valley.
Exciting.
So this is
How did you pull those strings, Dr. Art?
Well, I had to call a few people.
He's Dr. Art. That's how.
Yeah, right.
I've always wanted, you've ran a half, right?
Yes.
Have you ran a full?
No. That's been my goal.
Me
life
too.
goal, but now I think I'm too old to run.
Oh, never. It's the prep work for me.
Yes.
I don't ever have time to. I'm not a good runner, and I don't. I'll be honest. I don't love running, but I've just always wanted to be able to do it.
I think the beauty of the Phoenix 10K and marathon, as we've added on to that this year, is you don't have to be a great runner. You can just be a garden variety runner and come out and just have fun. You could even walk the 5K, which a lot of people do, and just to participate and, of course,
get a shirt.
Get a T-shirt, show and tell.
Look at that.
Can Ty just have that shirt and say he ran
it? You have to earn it.
I'll take the medal. He gets the shirt.
And the medal.
Oh, fun.
Look at the medal you're missing out on, Ty. I don't know. You better change your plans.
Dr. Art, I might have to cancel my flight.
I mean, this is amazing. And the runner, it spins. There's a spinning runner. Whoa.
They get more and more creative every year. We wanted to talk about prepping as well, right?
Right, no question about it. You want to train, number one, and depending upon whether you're going to do a 5K, a 10K, a half, or a marathon, it depends upon the distance you need to run every day. I have a 3-to-1 theory, which basically, if you're going to run in a marathon, then you should do at least 9 miles, 3 times that's going to be 27 miles, more than enough to get you 26.2, which is what the marathon distance. Now, if you're going to do like a 5K, you could do a mile. Do it 3 times a week, and do that for a couple of weeks before the marathon, and then you're trained. Now, someone who maybe is listening to this right now, watching it, and they have not trained at all, come out. Just do the 5K, walk it, crawl it, do whatever it takes just to get through, and you're going to get a medal and a T-shirt, and it's going to be a phenomenal experience because there'll be 5,000 people out there cheering you on, and that's the most important part of this race, again, over the years, is just to encourage health. Sure. I mean, it's going to lower your blood pressure, lower your heart rate, lower the risk of diabetes, lower your cholesterol level, allow you to sleep better, improve your digestion. So there's so many overall health benefits that people don't realize from just running every day, besides the camaraderie, which is what the main thing is right now. It's become a social event. People want to participate. Lululemon's involved with the race this year. They're going to be giving out discount coupons from Lululemon. The runner's bags are just filled with all kinds of goodies, too, that people get.
Dr. R, we're going to take a 2-minute break if you want to stay with us.
Please do. I'd love to stay.
Talk a little.
I'll stay for an hour.
Well, okay. We won't be here, but you can run your own show now.
Because I'm going to convince Ty to change his plans.
I know. I really wanted to do it. I was ready to do that, and then I looked at the dates, and unfortunately, it conflicts. But
I'd like to talk a little bit more when we get back about the benefits of getting out and moving.
Yes.
Because people don't realize how important that is, and how little you have to do really to get benefits.
Quick break. We'll be back in 2 minutes with Dr. Art.
Okay, good news, bad news, depending on who you are. The dates that we're looking at are actually November,
This
9th.
Sunday.
November 9th.
And so you're here.
I am here.
That's
And
the
he's
bad
here.
news or good
I
news?
got the wrong.
So now he's going to register.
I don't know if I can run a half marathon by Saturday,
10K?
Dr. Art.
Maybe
How about
maybe
a
the 10K.
10K on Sunday, yeah.
But I was going to ask you, because you have been kind of a long proponent of putting this on. Walk us through the beginnings of you starting this and why you keep doing this.
So I
year after
started
year.
this race in 1976.
Wow.
So this is an iconic year, the 50th year,
Yeah.
and that's why we added the full 26-mile marathon. So the original race started at 40th Street in Camelback and ran on the canal bank.
Oh, wow.
And Jesse Owens, 1936 Olympian, came to my first press conference and basically, promoted the race for us. And, he didn't run the race because he said anybody that runs over 100 yards is crazy. But, but he actually was there at my first press conference.
How cool.
So that's how the race started. And we anticipated like 500 runners. So I decided, okay, I have this race. And I had just run the Boston Marathon. So I was excited to put a race on here, and that was my utopian dream to have a full 26-mile marathon here. So basically we expected 500 runners, and I labeled from my office tongue depressors from 1 to 500. And I figured, well, here, we'll hand them out, and everybody will know where they finished, first, second, third. We had 1,500 runners.
Oh, wow.
So after the first 500 runners, no one knew where they finished. But we had a clock, so they knew how fast they
were
did.
going, yeah.
And so the race grew from there. It grew. One year we had it was Bank One Ballpark, Chase Field. We had 14,000 runners that year. So the race has really grown. But it's part of the rich heritage of Arizona running. I mean, people want to be part of this race. And again, on the 50th year, you certainly want to, be running the race. Any part of it, regardless of which distance that you decide. And we have what's called the Mollen Mile. And it's a 1 mile fun run for kids ages 3 to 12. So 3 to 12, and basically it's a fun run for the kids. They get a medal, they get their own personal type T-shirt. And it's a fun event, and sometimes it galvanizes a small child to say, "Hey, I want to run."
I keep doing this.
And that child could turn out to be an Olympic runner.
That's what I was going to ask you. It's never too early to start, and it's never too late to start. We just want people out there moving, getting that fresh air. A little bit of movement goes such a long way with our health.
No question about it. And if you were able to do 10 minutes a day for 30 days, it's what I call the minimal addictive dose of exercise. You will like it. It'll feel better. You'll sleep better. Your digestion will improve. Your heart rate will go down. Your blood pressure will improve. 10 minutes a day, 30 days, minimal addictive dose. If you do it for 90 days, you'll be doing this the rest of your life.
Agreed.
That is cool. It's always the hardest. I mean, we've talked to other individuals about, maybe doing a New Year's, what's it called? Resolution. And they always say it's like that, just getting over that kind of that mindset and actually going out and doing it. Then you really kind of start to get in that habit, and you really change your life.
I practice hot yoga, and
you do? I'm just kidding.
Well, Dr. Art doesn't know that because he and I have never met.
No, we haven't.
So what I wanted to say was, when a lot of the teachers will say the hardest part is just getting on your mat.
Yes.
The hardest part is putting those running shoes on.
That's right.
And stepping outside.
The first couple steps. I mean, when I used to run, like 10, 12 miles a day, I mean, the first mile was always difficult. It wasn't fun, and I think one of the reasons that people get discouraged from running, they run too fast and too far in the early stages of running. So, for instance, when you were in high school, your coach said, "Okay, run around the field. You're gonna, you did this or that. You're gonna take 3 laps around the field." You hated it because you were running and you were sprinting, and instead of thinking, well, let me slow down. So run at a speed at which you can have a normal conversation with someone next to you. That's the pace that you should be running. So if normally you're going to say, I'm going to run a marathon and I'm going to run in, say a 6-minute pace or something, don't even shoot for that. Shoot for a 10-minute pace. Shoot for a 12-minute pace, and just slow down and worry about finishing. And, of course, make sure you smile when you cross the finish.
Someone said that there's no prescription for walking or running. And I think that's just an interesting point because we don't always have to rely on medications. Not to say they're bad, because sometimes we do, but you would be surprised.
Absolutely. So for many years, I proselytized the message of using exercise and diet instead of medications for my patients. So I would take medication. Patients would come in. They might be on 4 or 5 medications. I would slowly wean them from the medications and slowly add the exercise and change their diet. So back in 1976 and 77, I took patients with me and ran the Honolulu Marathon. These were heart patients who had previous heart surgeries or bypass surgeries or had heart attacks, and we trained them over a period of a year, and we had them actually run 26-mile marathons. So that was the start of what is now called cardiac rehabilitation in our country.
Amazing.
That's pretty cool. I was going to ask you, everybody's wearing like the Fitbits. Oh, you got the Apple Watch. I've got the Apple Watch. Now, are those maybe helpful in a way to kind of keep track of XYZ?
Oh, your overall health. I mean, it monitors your sleep habits. It monitors your pulse rate.
We don't want to talk about those.
It determines, what your pulse rate should be. And, I think it's important when you are running to take your pulse.
Sure.
The easiest way to take your pulse is to place 2 fingers at the angle of your jaw. You count the number of beats in 10 seconds. You multiply that by 6, and that'll give you...
That's too much math. I'll just use the Apple Watch.
Yeah, but that'll give you your resting pulse, and you want a resting pulse somewhere below 70.
Okay.
And if your resting pulse is above 90, it's too high, and you want to work towards getting your resting pulse down to, say, 70 or even lower. My resting pulse is around 50 beats a minute, and that's where ideally you want to go. But some of these Olympic marathon runners, they have pulse rates like 36, 38.
That low.
It's pretty crazy.
How do people sign up?
They can
what
go
do
to
they need to know?
phoenix10k.com. Phoenix10k.com.
Okay.
That'll give them all the information. It'll tell them where to park. It'll tell them what time they should get there, where they can do a pre-race pickup, where they can get their race bib and they can get their bag of goodies with their Lululemon. JP Morgan Chase is one of our leading presenting sponsors. Walmart, of course, is our title sponsor this year, the first time they've ever been a title sponsor in any type of event. So phoenix10k.com.
Oh, listen to this, though. The top finishers will be awarded $1,000 for first place, $500 for second, $250 for third place.
I know. We were talking about that yesterday, so you might be able to
You may want to sign. You can sign up for like the 60 and plus. Maybe they'll let you sneak in and you'll win. Just kidding. So
the cash awards are for the marathon, since this is the iconic year for
Pretty
the
cool.
marathon. So that's first, second, and third place. And elite runners are going to be really happy this year, and they're going to be running really hard. And Sarah Hall is running, and she held the American record in the half marathon for 15 years.
Wow.
It was broken last year, and her husband, Ryan Hall, an Olympic runner, is going to be running, I think, the 5K. He's not running the marathon, but he was a 2012 and 2016 Olympian in the marathon.
Really cool. Well, Dr. Art, it was a pleasure to have you come in. We appreciate it.
Do you want to stay? And we're going to talk to a dating expert. Do you want to listen in?
Yeah, we could talk to the dating expert.
Let me find you some headphones.
Do we have headphones for Dr. Art, Dave?
Oh, she canceled.
Oh,
so
she
Dr.
did?
Art, do you want to hang out with us longer?
I do.
Why don't you give us some dating advice?
I do. And your previous guest was, talking about dentistry for veterans. And, one of the things he had mentioned was oral health. And oral health is critically important to cardiovascular disease. So a lot of times people develop cardiovascular disease in secondary to periodontal disease. So, that's an important people to know. And I'm a veteran, by the way.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. And I served 2 years active duty. So I was the last group of doctors to be drafted during the tail end of Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
So I was stationed at Luke Air Force Base. The first year you get stationed stateside, and the second year you basically go to Vietnam. Fortunately, the war ended, for me, and I didn't have to go. But the draft, I think that was the last year they actually had the draft.
What year was that?
That was 1971.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm older than...
We were just talking
I'm
about
a lot
Vietnam.
and I started this race when I was in kindergarten in 1976.
We believe it, Dr.
He looks really,
you
really
do look
good.
fantastic, though. I think it's because of your exercise, right?
Well, so, I'm down to walking. I'd like to say I'm jogging, but it's probably more of a slog at this point.
Running
slogging
is tough on the knees, I will say.
Yeah, for me,
it's not easy for me. I've slowed down a little bit too, and I'm preferring the longer, more intense walks.
Yeah, and a lot of people say it's tough on the knees. Sometimes, it could be the low back, sciatic nerve pain, things like that. And as you get older, your legs may not have the lift in it. So.
But that's okay.
Yeah, so I walk 5 miles every morning, and then I go to a 25-meter pool and I swim a mile, which I did this morning.
Good for you. Swimming's great.
I was going to ask you, talking about shoes and how much they have changed, especially those running shoes.
Incredible,
Because those Hokas came out, and they've now real thick. And now,
there's a lot more cushion to them.
I love the On Cloud running shoes, and I used to run with those all the time. And now they've come out with their big brand of the big. Do those help, I guess, cushion kind of everything, right?
Yeah. So what you want to do with any type of running shoe is make sure you go to a running store that knows what they're doing.
Sure.
I mean, we have a relationship with Runner's Den and Soul Sports, and we've been doing things with them for years, and that's where you can pick up your race packet before the race and everything. But you have people in the store who are actually runners, so they understand. So if you have pronation or supination and you have an arch that's breaking down, or you have an Achilles tendonitis, they can recommend a specific shoe. So this year Hoka is our sponsor for the shoes, and the Hoka shoes are pretty good, and they're pretty soft and lined, and they have excellent arch supports and things like that. So I think it's important to get the right shoe. Now, one word of caution on shoes: don't buy a new pair of shoes.
Well, the day of the race,
the race in them.
Yeah.
Break them in, try them out for a week. If you do that, you're going to have blisters, you're going to have Achilles, you're going to have all kinds of issues.
Remembering that marathon for all the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
Someone told me socks are important too. The type of sock you wear as well.
You want to make sure that it isn't too thin, because then you're going to have too much movement in the shoe. So you want to have a soft cotton sock if you can.
Practice in those shoes beforehand.
Right.
Okay, Dr. Art, we have 30 seconds left.
Yes.
One more time, that website where people can sign up.
Phoenix10k.com.
Awesome.
Phoenix10k.com. Come out, run in the most iconic race in the history of Arizona. It's the longest running event. We have the Mayor's Cup. Mayor Kate Gallego will be presenting the Mayor's Cup to the winners of the marathon.
Amazing.
Well,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Art, thank you so much for coming. It was great seeing you again.
Thank you so much. You guys are great.
Thanks.
Well, you know what?
Come back.
We tried, Dr.
No, you're
Art.
really good.
Have a great day. Des and Ron are next.
Hey, Fox 10 Talks is so great. We got to keep it going for 2 full hours. Good morning, everybody. It's Ron and Des. I need to remember to turn to the camera like this to say hello. How's it going, Des?
Good. How are you?
Just great. We had the governor on a little earlier.
How did that go?
I thought it went really well, but we're going to let you, the audience, decide, because if you missed it in the 10 a.m. hour, we have like a condensed version of some of the main headlines that came out of that.
Oh, good.
The other thing I was going to mention is, let me just pop this up right here on ENG 21. There's been a major development regarding, in fact, for a moment, Ronnie, if you can bring the audio up here, what we are waiting to hear is when the press briefing addresses the president's decision announced only 2 hours ago to not move forward with SNAP benefits until the government reopens. Let's listen in for just a second. I don't know if she's to the Q&A portion yet or not. All right, yeah, it looks like maybe she is. Let's listen for a moment.
At the Antifa roundtable that we were at just last month, myself and the other panelists made the recommendation to the president for, speaking of foreign terrorist organizations, to have Antifa not just be domestic terrorist organization, but be designated as a foreign terrorist organization since they have cells in other countries. He mentioned to Secretary Rubio, because he was in the room at the time, to look into that. So I just wanted to see if there's an update on that recommendation.
That process is most definitely taking place. I don't have any announcements for you on that today, but I can certainly assure you the administration is working on it, and I'll check in on it and get back to you, Julio. It's a good question. Thank you very much. Jackie.
Thank you, Caroline. Zohran Mamdani blamed the president for bomb threats and intimidation at polling locations. He said, quote, part of the general approach of the Trump administration has taken to intimidate voters with baseless allegations of voter fraud as a means of trying to repress the voice of Americans across this country. I want to give you a chance to respond to that.
Yeah, I saw those comments from Mamdani. I think they are completely irresponsible, and they are based on zero evidence. And I think this is just another example of how the Democrat Party unfortunately stands for nothing. All they stand against is President Donald Trump. And I think it's quite sad to see that we have someone at the top of the ticket on an election day today saying such things about the president when he obviously had absolutely nothing to do with those threats.
And on the shutdown, Democrats have been pretty quiet about the president's push for the nuclear option, terminating the filibuster. Is there any concern around here that Democrats might actually want Republicans to get rid of the filibuster so that one day when they're in power again, the door's already open for them to pack the Supreme Court, give statehood to D.C. and Puerto Rico, make mail-in balloting permanent, those kinds of things?
I think the president has been very realistic and strong in his position on the filibuster. He's been very vocal about it. I just spoke to him about it. He feels really strongly about this. Republicans need to play tough and they need to play smart. That's how the president feels. And we know that Democrats, if they are ever given a chance at power again in this city, they will absolutely take away the filibuster from the United States Senate. In fact, you had 49 Democrats who already voted to do this before. The only reason it did not move forward was because you had 2 Democrats who are no longer in office because they were run out of town by the far left radical base of their party. And so President Trump is quite clear on this. He wants to see Republicans move as many good pieces of legislation for our country forward in the next 3 years of his administration as they possibly can. And the filibuster is one means to doing that.
Okay, so we will hold on here. That's the shot I like right there. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. But the big headline is now, once again, SNAP benefits are in limbo, Des, and we may not know for a few more days what happens next.
Yeah. And what do you say to that? It's a tough time, certainly for those folks that, really need that for assistance.
Yeah. Okay. So you asked the question how to go with the governor.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the best way to answer it. Let's just roll the highlights right now. As a matter of fact, here are just a few highlights from that segment with the governor. She came into our studio here only 90 minutes ago.
So this is a new tool that any Arizonan can get to lower their prescription drug costs. I've been very focused on ways that we can work to lower costs for Arizonans, and I know that prescription drugs are a big burden. And so this new card, AZRX, folks can use to lower their prescription costs.
I think it was up to 80%, right, on some of the prescriptions.
First of all, I share the concern that I know so many Arizonans are feeling right now. And it's been incredibly frustrating because the Trump administration really could have resolved this weeks ago, knowing that the shutdown was continuing and that they had these contingency funds, and they could have released them ahead of time so that states could be prepared. And now we're faced with this very confusing situation. So SNAP beneficiaries should have gotten their monthly benefits for November on Saturday, November 1st, and that did not happen. So now the Trump administration says they're releasing them, and this is because of a court order forcing them to. And so we just received guidance from the USDA, which is the department that administers those funds, this morning. The guidance is very confusing. And so for people that are relying on these benefits, it's still going to be a while before we can get them to them. We don't know when, and we're doing everything we can. I have told DES Director Weishart this is a top priority. We need to get these benefits as soon as possible, but we still have to understand the guidance coming from USDA. So growing up, my dad was the sole breadwinner for our family, and I just saw my parents work really hard, but there were times where my dad wasn't working. He was, in a volatile industry, and when he wasn't working, my parents got SNAP benefits, and it's what made sure we had food on the table. And I remember a lot of times during those times that it was just really hard. My mom struggled with the stigma of having those benefits and using them at the grocery store. And, I think a lot of that experience is really what led me into a career in social work. But, my husband and I struggled too during the Great Recession, raising our kids. We've lost a house to foreclosure, and many, many times had those hard kitchen table conversations and worried about how we were going to pay the bills. I can say with confidence that I have been laser focused on the issues that matter most to Arizonans: lowering costs, securing the border, continuing to create good paying jobs. And while I'm continue to be focused on what matters to Arizonans, I can say that my three opponents are focused on the chaos in Washington, D.C. And, two of them voted for the terrible Washington budget that's going to hurt Arizonans. The third one cheered it on with them. And despite the impacts it will have on Arizonans, hundreds of thousands of Arizonans will lose their health care. Rural hospitals are under threat of closure. The SNAP benefits we just talked about, those are being drastically reduced under that bill. The tariff war that Washington is waging, it's the biggest tax that Americans have experienced maybe ever. It's all causing a lot of damage in Arizona, and I'm focused on doing what I can to continue to deliver for Arizonans, and they're supporting all of those policies. I want Washington politicians to do what we did here in Arizona when the extremists in the legislature sent a partisan budget that cut services and left Arizona families behind. I vetoed them, and I forced them back to the table, and we passed a bipartisan and balanced budget. And we did that because we were focused on delivering for Arizonans and not the politics. This is the place to be, not just for semiconductors, but all kinds of advanced manufacturing. A few weeks ago, we held SemiCon West here, and that is the premier semiconductor conference in North America. And there was so much buzz about it. In its 50-year history, this is the first time they have been outside of Silicon Valley, the first time it's been in Arizona, and there's a lot of buzz about keeping it here. So that sort of just solidifies where we are in terms of the semiconductor industry in the United States. But it didn't happen by accident, and it didn't happen overnight. It happened because we worked to understand the needs. We've been working to not just bring these big manufacturers, but the whole supply chain that they rely on. We've since 2021, I believe we've had 60 new semiconductor announcements totaling $210 billion. Mm-hmm. And all of that is good because it means good paying jobs for Arizonans, jobs that don't necessarily need a college degree. But we need to make sure that Arizonans know about those opportunities and that we are creating the pipeline for them to get into those opportunities. So we've made tremendous investments in workforce, working with industry, with our community colleges and our universities, and creating the training that Arizonans need to get these good paying jobs.
Okay, so there are just some of the highlights. We got about 20 minutes or so from the governor, and I just want to point out, Des, that, let me punch up the right camera right there, that we have also reached out to the Republican gubernatorial candidates. We're waiting to hear back from them.
Yeah, hopefully they come in and sit down. It's so nice to have this format because you can really hear more from them, right? And you can ask more follow-up questions, and it's nice to hear.
You go a little more in depth. I mean, Syleste started talking about the story that she was an Uber driver at one point, and I said, "Is that urban legend or is that real?"
Is that real?
And she's like, "That's very real."
Real.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. It is election day across the USA. They got big races going on for governor in New Jersey. And in Virginia, and then, of course, the New York mayor's race.
In New York,
But even here in Arizona, there's at least one pretty big issue on the ballot.
We need to stretch our resources and really, limit the access to care that we can provide. We will still care for patients that come into the emergency department, that come into the behavioral health system, but time to receive that care may continue to increase.
Prop 409 getting a lot of talk because it would give Valleywise Health nearly $900 million to expand their services and build a new hospital. A new 200-bed facility would focus on behavioral health at a time when a lot of people are saying we need to do a better job as a country to do that. Critics are, though, they are saying there's got to be more transparency. There's got to be more guardrails. And the amount of money that they are talking about spending is, according to some critics, pretty large. So both sides of that issue covered for you as well. One other quick story, Des, before we get to the break. This story caught my attention. I know it did for you, too. CDC says now 6 people reported dead from listeria from pasta meals. Apparently, Nate's Fine Foods expanding the recall of the pasta was sold at big stores like Trader Joe's and Kroger, which owns Fry's in Arizona, and Albertsons. The only good news is no cases reported yet in Arizona. This is pretty frightening.
Yeah, and when you look at the list, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different products. So that's a scary thing. It's not just like one store, one brand, one particular pasta. Yeah. It's, Giant Eagle, smoked mozzarella pasta, Sprouts, Kroger, Scott & John's.
Right.
So many different pasta dishes.
I would say if you have any questions at all, talk to the folks at your grocery store.
Yeah, definitely double check it if you have it in your freezer.
Okay, mystery cam time. Oh, wait. Do we still have more wasps across America? What is happening now? We'll be right back. Okay, Ron and Desiree. Hey, Des.
Hey, we're back.
Okay, we are back, and we have, I don't know what is going on, but these wasps. Okay, so last hour we were in Alabama, and there were wasps flying around the camera. I'm going to have to go either Alabama or right next door to Mississippi or Georgia, because they can't be having wasps like 1,000 miles away in Nebraska.
Yeah, Halakita is thinking it's Georgia. I think that's a good guess.
Yeah. I was surprised the first time I went to Alabama, flew in and out of the Georgia airport. You only have to leave everybody. Oh, wait a sec. Well, I have 2 buttons labeled Des. So anyway, that's the right button right there. What do you see?
It is.
Look at
what
you.
Colquitt?
Okay.
Is that how you say that, guys?
Probably.
Georgia?
Colquitt?
Colquitt?
Okay, let's go figure out where it is. Here's the
Never heard
camera
of that.
again. We're now going to go to Colquitt, Georgia.
Do you guys in the chat? Do you guys know where that is? Anyone ever been? Got family?
Got family in Colquitt? Let us know. Oh gosh! First thing that pops up, they got a BK, they got a Burger King, a Hardee's.
Well, where's the McDonald's at then?
Yeah,
I mean, if there's a BK.
no kidding. Let's see how close it is. That's crazy. It's actually very close to Alabama. I'm going to put it, as the crow flies, about 20 miles to Alabama, to Dothan, Alabama. So they got a problem down there with the wasps. Seems like the wrong time of year for the wasp to be hatching, but I'm no expert on
So this
wasp
is like
life.
way south from Atlanta.
Yes.
Just to help you guys out there.
Yep,
Yeah.
there you go. You know what? Where are my manners? I completely forgot to ask what's been going on with you today, Des, which is the way we kind of like to start the show.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, what you been up to today?
We were out today at the Amore Collective in downtown Phoenix. So
Okay.
they used to be on the west side in Peoria.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. The owner is Stephanie Velasquez.
Okay.
She's a Latino business owner. She owns a coffee shop.
Nice.
And she just had this idea of bringing different Latina business owners together under one roof, because they're underrepresented sometimes, and it's hard to get a business started.
Sure.
So she has 37 Latino-owned businesses under one roof. You can shop clothes, jewelry, candles, like home goods.
How
There's some
cool.
food items.
Where is
there.
it again?
It's right on North First Avenue in downtown Phoenix.
Okay. Right downtown, around
like right downtown.
Jefferson, Monroe, Washington, somewhere in that area.
And I'm drawing a blank on her coffee shop.
Yeah.
Goodness. It's 1024 North First Avenue. And it's just a great space, great maker space. The owners are really sweet. We talked to a couple different ladies in there today. So
That's going to put it right around Roosevelt, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Downtown is so hopping.
Yeah, so that was nice to talk with them. And she does other events too, and really supports local small businesses and women especially too. So
every time I try to talk my wife Renee into selling the house in Mesa and just getting an apartment downtown, I don't.
Did she go for it? No.
She wants to be out by where the grandkids are.
Well, I don't blame her. I don't blame her.
Des?
And yes, it's North First and Roosevelt, so right there at the corner.
Oh, good. Okay. This reminds me of a story I've been wanting to ask you since you and Tim from KNIX were live this morning at 5:55.
Oh, what were we doing?
There is, I went and I did a little research, and you guys can chime in on this as well, because if you do the looking on it, there are 2 possible answers. How many times a day is a mom asked questions by her children? Now, supposedly there was a survey that recently came out and said on average, parents navigate 46 questions per day from their kids. But there was
lies.
You're like that.
Lies.
It's got to be more than that.
Not if you have toddlers.
Yep.
That's a lie.
Because there was a study in the UK about a decade ago that said it was closer to 280 questions.
More accurate. Yep.
I think it probably is. Everything's a question, right?
Everything is a question, especially in the toddler phase that mine are in.
Yeah. So do the twins, are they like a lot of Q&A with you?
Yes. I mean, it can just be anything. Mommy, can I have one? Can I have this? Can I have that? What's that? What are you eating? What are you drinking? Mommy.
Why?
Where are my shoes?
Yeah.
Where's that? Can we go to the park?
Right.
But D3's questions are changing a little bit now that he's 5 in kindergarten.
Okay. So it's more like...
He's asking a lot, Mom, how do you spell Tuesday? How do you spell, whatever it is?
Yeah.
So, and he goes, Mommy, make a tell me how to make a pattern or whatever. And
okay.
Yeah, with like your clothes. Right. And I'm like, okay, shirt, pants. And yeah, he's like into patterns
Does
right
he
now.
ever
so
say
that's what they're learning in
wants,
school.
what he wants to do in the football world? He's doing so great in youth football. Is he like, I want to be the quarterback and play for the Cardinals, or I want to be the running back and play for Toledo, or what?
So he says he wants to be Josh Allen.
Okay.
So he has to be a quarterback now.
Big Buffalo Bills family.
Yeah. But then David goes, well, are you sure? Because then he goes, but I want to tackle. And we're like, okay, defense. So do you want to be a QB or do you?
I know. Hey, I got two words for D3. Travis Hunter.
Yeah. We'll have to keep eyes on him. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Right, for sure. Okay. Let's get back to some of our other stories this morning that we definitely did want to talk about, because one of them, I think, all of them, I think, are actually really interesting. But one, now there's a controversy about the turquoise alert.
Yeah, this is wild.
That went out in the very early morning hours. This is as the continuing search goes on for a Valley teenager, Yolyn Hermeos. She's still missing. Mm-hmm. It's been several days now. And maybe you heard the turquoise alert that was sent out to phones. The alarms went out in the very early morning hours when most folks were still asleep. I think it was around 5 in the morning on Sunday morning. And so the method is sparking a debate. Turquoise alerts were signed into law last year. Advocates say the urgency of finding a missing person makes any time the right time. And here's a little bit more now about that.
We have the Amber Alert. We have the Silver Alert. And now we have a resource, a new tool for that in between that covers more people who are at risk. This is a huge resource to help families. We could put them on billboards, we could pass out flyers, we can do all of that, but it takes a lot of time. Having this turquoise alert is helping us to speed up finding missing persons. So while this law was made to protect primarily Indigenous people after Emily's law, it doesn't exclude anybody. So again, it goes back to kind of that, who's most vulnerable and who needs our help. And sometimes, like you said, minorities that might not get as much media presence or as much online sharing or have that broad network here. When you get those alerts, be aware. So if there's any description in it, remember it. Go on your social media. If you can share the story with people, just talk about it. And if you're in that area, say you lived in Mesa where she went missing, or anywhere, because now you don't know, she could be anywhere.
Well, so some people online were commenting on the Mesa PD Facebook post, complaining about the timing because the alert was sent out at 5 in the morning, that most people are not up and awake and able to, get out there and start looking or anything that might happen like that, plus waking them up. And so this is the third time the turquoise alert sent out. But the bottom line is it goes out. I don't think they sit on it. In our business, in the news business, we have a policy where we don't sit on the news. If it's big, we're going to get it to you as fast as we can. And I think that's the approach that law enforcement's taking.
Yeah, and I wish, here, trying to read some of those comments, some folks were saying, worst time to send it out, who's up at 5 a.m. I just think that's nonsense to complain about when this was sent out. The fact is, it's being used to help find a young girl and hopefully reunite her with her family, and that's all that matters.
Yep. Yeah, and you were also seeing some of the pictures there of Emily Pike, a story that we have covered extensively and that is just so heartbreaking. And so, gosh, we hope that maybe by tomorrow we can get you an update, and tell you that Yolyn has been found, but so far...
Yeah, she is not yet.
Yeah.
So let's keep our eyes open.
Okay. I don't think that I want to book any more air travel until they get things ironed out. They're now saying that, I think yesterday there was an airport I think it was Houston, where they told people, be prepared for 3-hour TSA lines. And then there was another report that the percentage of employees in the air traffic control system who are not showing up for work, who are calling in sick or however it works, that percentage is growing each day, day by day by day. And so Sean Duffy, who's the head of Transportation said it's just going to be chaos as we get to the latter half of this month. And we all know what the latter half of November is.
I mean, you're coming into the busy holiday season travel time. So my mom is flying in tomorrow from Buffalo. So we'll see what her experience is like. Luckily, she has a direct flight.
Right.
So I said, worst case scenario, at least even if you're delayed or it takes a really long time, you're on the plane and then you're here. But I don't know what the situation's like in the Buffalo airport, much smaller than some of these larger airports that we've been seeing.
How many
those
gates do
issues
they
at.
have at the Buffalo airport?
Oh God, I haven't been in that airport in years.
I'm funny that way. I like to count
20
airport gates. 20 gates.
Maybe,
That's my kind of airport right there.
Maybe a little more, but not many. It's always felt like really small.
I think we have over 100 gates at Sky Harbor. Like 120 gates, something like that. And, they're going to build that whole new international terminal. One of the big complaints is we've got like 5 international flights. Now, actually, if you add the nonstops into Mexico, that adds substantially more. But you have you got London, Paris, and that's about it. Now we're adding Taipei, Taiwan.
Right. Well, you need the infrastructure in order to expand. So maybe that's the idea. I mean, how many more international flights can we get in without the room? Or?
Yeah, it's going to take a couple of years, but it's going to be the extension of Terminal 3.
Are you traveling soon?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I mean,
not with this.
Yeah, I've been amazed that it's run as smoothly as it has so far. But the Travel Association sent a letter to members of Congress saying, pass something, get us reopened. 60% of Americans now say they are reconsidering their travel plans for the rest of this year because who knows if you're actually going to get out. Delays and cancellations are going up on a daily basis. So all that's going on as well. I often say, Des, this half hour that you and I do, I'm like, seriously.
Already done.
Where does the time go?
I don't know.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for joining us. Tell us one more time where we can go and support these Latina business owners.
The Amor Collective.
Okay.
Right at Roosevelt and
First Ave and Roosevelt.
Yep.
Roosevelt Row.
Yep.
It is a hopping place, that's for sure. All right. We will say our goodbyes. From right there in Georgia, just on the other side of Alabama. Watch out for the wasps if you're headed down south. We'll be back tomorrow with more FTT.